All right, hey buddy. So the first thing I talked about was setup, and I showed you that this left wrist, the left arm, the left wrist, and the shaft were more in alignment this way. Okay, so yours were very centered to your body, which gets this a little bit cupped and a little bit scoopy looking at setup. So just slightly make sure that this left arm is strong, this left wrist is in alignment, and the shaft is more lined up in this way. Okay, so that's the first thing. So real simple. Then we talked about how to wind up in the backswing. Okay, so what I saw in you was the upper body gets a little bit over here and the pelvis is very level. Okay, and then from down the line, the club gets a little bit this way and the pelvis is very under this way. Okay, so a couple drills I'd like you to do, focusing on, I said the center of gravity, my sternum, and my belt buckle. Okay, so this is my center. It's just like when you're playing defense in basketball, you're centered. It's like when you're gonna field a ground ball in baseball, you're centered. You're gonna play quarterback, you're centered. You're athletic, you're ready to go, okay? Now, as I take this club up to the top of the backswing, I'm pushing this back, I'm winding the ribs up. So I'm centered, 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 centered. Now, from a down the line view, it's gonna look like this. Take it back, centered, 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 centered. And I'm also strong in this right leg. So you notice that the glute pushed back slightly while the ribs created leverage up here at the top, okay? So a couple drills to feel this. The first one, I'd like you to, when you're warming up, put the club on your shoulders. You're feeling athletic, you're feeling centered, ready to go. And then I just want you to stay centered and wind the body up and back to center, wind the body up, back to center, wind the body up, back to center. Because what happens is, if my upper body moves too much this way, now the golf ball's moving. It's not, but I am, so effectively it is. So the more centered I can stay, the more refined this is gonna get for you, the more consistent it's gonna get for you. But also, my pelvis is gonna be on this side of the arc, winding up this way. So I'm loading the ribs up, I'm loading into this right leg, and I'm creating leverage here. So now everything's set up for me to go this way as the initial move in the downswing, so that I can get the club coming in faster and a little bit stronger, so we can have some forward shaft lean. Okay, so the first one, just centered, back to setup, centered, back to setup. So, whatever you want to do, 3 sets of 10, 10 sets of 10, but your center of gravity is very key here. Okay, that's the first thing. Then the next thing I want you to feel is envision if someone was on the ground right here, and for whatever reason we wanted to punch them. What would that feel like? Okay, so I want you to have same athletic setup, 2 fists right here, and I'm just gonna draw my right arm up. Now, my right arm's not gonna look like this in the golf swing, but it's a feeling for the body movement, okay? I'm gonna draw this rib up like I was gonna punch someone down there in that direction, so I'm drawing it up there. You'll feel things pressurized. You'll feel your body get engaged. You'll feel your stomach tighten. You'll feel your ribs load up. Because if I was gonna punch someone down there, it would look like this. It wouldn't look like this, right? So the right rib, right hip loads in this direction. So down the line, it's gonna look like this. Someone's down there, I wanna punch them. I'm winding this up. This got loaded into, this got loaded back, and this is ready to move energy in this direction. That's gonna get you more back in the hip, more up in the ribs, and get your angle coming down a little bit better, okay? So 2 things to do with the body. Club on the shoulder, staying centered, and winding up the ribs like you're gonna punch someone on the ground. Now, in terms of the downswing, this would also be a good movement for you, So winding up the body and then punch to level. Winding up the body, punch to level. You'll notice my centers, I'm centered here, and then when I deliver this punch, you'll see this left knee, this left side of my hip, this left rib is gonna move in this way because I've loaded it up properly so the right side's higher. So I'm ready to move into this half pipe, but I'm not at the bottom of the half pipe yet. I'm still coming down. So the bottom of the swing arc, like we talked about, is where the club meets the ground, okay? So with an iron, for you, we're gonna get you coming into it, attacking it better. But we have to leverage it first if we ever stand a chance to compress it properly. So, wind up the punch, punch. Wind up the punch, punch. You'll notice your body will level out in this direction. So I'm leveling out at the bottom of the arc. So you saw in that first part that there's a little movement forward. Okay, now I'm at the bottom of the arc, now I level out. I don't want to go any more forward than the bottom of the arc. Okay, now the next thing we'll play around with. This club gets a little bit over here for you, and I know we talked about this when you were down here. In terms of how we load the club for leverage, for strength, from a Nicklaus, and you don't remember Jack Nicklaus, but Jack Nicklaus, 18 majors, 19 seconds, he said he always wanted the club to remain in the address position throughout the golf swing. So the address position, I'm centered, I'm balanced, and the club's between my arms. Okay? So now, if I take the club back to here, it's still between my arms. If I take it up to here, it's still between my arms. Because I've got it leveraged. If the club gets outside my arms, it's out of balance from my center. So what happens is, if it gets out of balance this way on this side of the arc, so this side of the arc, if it gets out of balance this way, then on this side of the arc, the front side of the arc, it's gonna throw. So now you've got the club doing this throughout the golf swing. We don't want any excessive forearm rolling to happen. So easy fix. We just got to get to where, okay, checkpoint, clubs between my arms. Okay, take it up to here. Okay, clubs between my arms. I've got strength, I've got leverage. Like if I was gonna chop wood or something, I wouldn't want the axe over here to chop it. I'd want it leveraged, okay? So ways to feel this. We've got the club here. I've got it leveraged, strong. And then from there, if I turn my body, okay, it's right here. So I've just got control of it because I need the weight of the club head to be balanced between my arms to have a chance at no excessive forearm rolling, okay? So we get you back, loaded in this right rib, stronger. Now we've got the club loaded between our arms. Okay, now we're gonna punch somebody down there. So we're moving down in this direction. We're moving down into the ground more. So what it's gonna feel like to you, we get it leveraged first, then we start beating into the ground. Ask Chris Johnson or Scott Johnson about what Mac would do, O'Grady, with them. He'd take their shirts off and go pound into the long rough for a while to get them moving in this direction. Because if I'm over here and I start releasing here, everything's gonna look like this. I need to get strong, attack the ball. Because I'm strong, I'm set up already to attack it. Now I move here. Now I'm at the bottom of the arc. Wham, club comes right down in front, and then everything moves together up to the finish, and I break a light. Okay, so that's all I got for you today. I hope this helps. Reach out to me anytime. Thanks, buddy.